there, Tabitha Roach here. I'm now going to share with you some great chapter book series that maybe you can launch in those Easter baskets. You know, once you get a child hooked on a chapter book series, that can really spark a lot of interest in reading and help keep them reading. So for those brand new chapter book story readers, or maybe you have a young reader who is excited about reading chapter books, but they're just not quite there with the traditional or the typical chapter book. I'm trying to find the chapter. We have two amazing series that I highly recommend. So here you can see it is a chapter book. We have Billy B. Brown books and the Hey Jack books. Billy B. and Jack are best friends, and they appear in each other's stories. There is great vocabulary in here. In fact, when there is a word that maybe is higher than their level, it's going to be in big bold print, basically telling them, hey, it's okay if you're not sure what that word is. We put a big word in there for you. There are 12 books in each of these series, great morals. Boys and girls can read either series again because they're both characters in each other's stories. Your kids will absolutely love them, and so will you. Okay, so moving up a little bit to the young readers who are kind of used to those chapter books now. Love our Anna Hibiscus and Number One Car Spotter series. Anna Hibiscus has 4 in the series. Number One Car Spotter, there are 2, written by one of my favorite authors, Atanuke. Her characters live in Africa. She grew up in Africa and wanted to write stories that really depict traditional, accurate, authentic African life. And so Number One actually lives in a traditional poor village in Africa, and Anna Hibiscus lives in a traditional middle-income compound with all her aunties and uncles and cousins and grandparents and her parents. Her mom is Canadian and her dad is African. So there's a lot of great diversity, and it's really hard to find cultural books like this in chapter books, and they're fabulous stories. I mean, laugh out loud funny is Number One Car Spotter. You'll love them. Okay, Animal Wild Talker is become a very popular series. This is for all those animal lovers out there, kind of like the Dr. Dolittle of a young chapter book. Amy Wild is able to talk to animals and solve all kinds of little mysteries that happen. We have many books in this series as well. Fairly new series is Penny Dreadful, and as you can see here, there is a little bit of a graphic novel appeal, and so kids that love Diary of a Wimpy Kid are going to love this series, and kids who love Junie B. Jones are going to love this series. Personally, as a mom, though, I like it a lot better than Junie B. Jones. My daughters both love that series. That's great. But I prefer the vocabulary and the language in this book a little bit more. It feels a little bit smarter. But she is sassy and gets in, you know, a little bit of situations, but really clean and enjoyable and interesting. Okay, if you have any kids that love the I Survive series, they will love the Extreme Adventures. These are fiction, unlike the I Survive series, but still the same, where Sam, the main character, has a serious life situation to survive in each of these books. I believe we have about 9 in this series now. And if you have a child that loves those graphic novels, they will love Mythical Ninth Division. There are 4 books in this series now, and in each one, the Yetis have to save the world. So lots of great adventure, but also funny, and the graphic novel appeal. So moving up a little bit, if you have a reluctant reader or just an avid reader, both are going to love this series, Conspiracy 365. This is recommended for 10 and up. I was addicted to this series, as was my son. I think he was 13 when it was released. Basically, Callum has 365 days to survive and unlock a family mystery. And each book, as you can see, the first book is January. Each book follows the next month of his life and follows his exciting journey. And each book leaves you with the biggest cliffhanger. It is awesome for building reading interest at that very important age. Okay, So, Butterflies, if you've never seen this before, I highly recommend it for ages 11 and up. Every girl should read this. I'm going to read the bottom here. It says basically it's about Catherine, who is now 17, and she was severely burned when she was 3. So she's had a long journey of scarring and operations and all these things. And at that age of 17, in finding herself and loving herself, you kind of go on that journey with her. It's totally clean content. And in the end, it says here an extraordinary story of a journey where pain and trauma become triumph and a passion for living. Butterflies is a coming of age story that celebrates the fighter in all of us. Highly recommend all girls 11 and up and all women read this book. It is empowering. Okay, on a lighter note, Choose Your Own Ever After. So we have 2 new books in this series, How to Get to Rio and A Hot Cold Summer. And in it, the reader gets to choose how the story is going to go, which is so much fun. I would recommend this for ages 12 and up. There is a little bit of innocent but kissing involved in the stories. So I think maybe it's listed for 10 and up, so that's up to you whether or not you want to bring that in at an early age. But talk about very popular and high interest for those girls. They are loving that series. And then finally, our Phoenix Files series for even higher. This is definitely true, young adult. 6 books in the series, basically 3 teenagers. One or both of their parents get a new job in this place called Phoenix. Not Phoenix, Arizona, just a place called Phoenix. And there's some strange things going on, and they meet each other, and they basically come to learn that someone or something is trying to wipe out humanity for everyone outside of Phoenix, except for those in Phoenix. And they basically have to save the world. So I hope that you found an interesting series for the readers in your life.